In the first video episode, it was mentioned that the first exercise would be to replicate the tactical movements of the midfielder number 6 in the build-up scenario. At the same time, we will train opponent attackers in the defensive phase. In this exercise, player number 1 makes the pass and then a situation of 4 vs 3 is created. The player number 6 gains 1 or 2 points depending on your setup, if he/she score passing the ball to a teammate, so the red players, which they receive the ball between the poles. And obviously the black team doesn't have to let this happen, so until the red team doesn't score, they can keep the ball possession. None of the players can be standing in the post for more than 2-3 seconds. They can go inside only to receive or intercept the pass. An idea of a progression of the exercise is that the player can move and switch between each other outside of the square. While here, the number 1 can also play, creating a situation of 5 vs 3 or adding a player for a 5 vs 4 situation. And finally, you could create another progression by adding another goal, that is a way to add the level of difficulty. Instead of using bips, you could use headbands or different color bips to follow the theory of chaos or differential learning. In this exercise, we try to create the scenario which the player understands the trigger of moving together. Here we have a situation of 2 vs 1. Number 6 chooses the corner where to move, and in the meantime he has to scan his back to verify where the teammates and the opponent are. At the same time, you can train the vision of number 10 that needs to look at the movements of the number 8, so in the defensive phase. In case the exercise would not go smoothly in the beginning, the player 6 could play the ball back to create a situation of 3 vs 1. Finally, in the last exercise, we could train this type of movement from the match scenario. We could involve also the non-verbal communication, a topic that was spoken in a previous video from the channel. The central striker provides a sign with the arm that the red team is aware. For example, in this case the player would put his arm on his hip. The pass to the central back is a trigger of the movements of the player. In case the exercise would become too monotonous, we could add another option to the player by adding the pulse. The player will receive the pass, so the ball could recognize whether it's a good option to make the long pass or to pass the wide attackers that have to dribble the ball towards the middle of the pitch to build up future tactical movements. If you would like to know more about this topic, you could find a list of studies in the description below. Also, if you would like to help me growing with the content, please subscribe to the channel. Thank you for watching and goodbye.